is it time to accept the fact that building a regular season giant is vastly different than building a playoff performer? Bruce, the Oilers and Panthers were 9th and 11th overall in the regular season, and now most of us would agree the two best teams in the league are playing for the Stanley Cup. So here's the question. How did the Oilers and Panthers go from middle of the pack to top of the heap?
Well, you know what? They were always top of the heap, but it just wasn't as important during the regular season. All they cared about was making the playoffs because they've been there. They've been in the first place position, and they realized that they can win from anywhere. And so they were just preparing for the playoffs. I look at Tampa a couple years ago after they'd won 2 cups. It wasn't important that they ended up first overall. But, I mean, sometimes when your team hasn't been there, then the regular season, getting into first place means everything. Look at Toronto this year. They fought really hard to get in first place, thinking that that was going to really be an important factor. But I don't think with Edmonton, I don't think with Florida, I don't think it was that important. They just wanted to make sure that they had made the playoffs and that when they went in, they were going in as healthy as possible. So I think for teams that have been to the top of the mountain, it really isn't as important to be in first place overall. If you hadn't been there, boy, you want to get there. But, I mean, when you have been there, you just know that the Stanley Cup is what it's all about.
Okay, Coach, so what can we learn? When you look at the regular season standings over the last few years, as you mentioned, we see a number of teams, like the Leafs, for example, who are built for great regular seasons, don't have what it takes to win in the playoffs when the games change dramatically. So, Coach, what can teams learn from the way the Oilers and Panthers have been built for the playoffs?
Well, you know, the biggest thing that I learn is that you learn from losing. You learn from what you don't have. I take both of these teams here. Like, I mean, you take the Oilers. They knew what Florida did. They were always in their face, and they're a cranky bunch, and they're a little physical. So what did the Oilers go? And they learned, hey, we need a guy like Trent Frederick. We need Evander Kane to come back. They get them both, and that's when they become a great team. What do the Oilers need? Or the Florida Panthers need? They're going, hey, you know what? We could use another physical disturber out there. They go out and get Brad Marchand. That's what they learned from previous years. Now, I can tell you right now, the Leafs will have learned this year. They're saying, okay, what we're doing isn't working. We got to change the format up. Now they're going to go out and look for players like that they can fit in to end up being where Florida and Edmonton is right now. But it's great to see what you need and go out and be able to go get it. Both the teams that are in the finals right now did that on both occasions. And I'll even add one more. Seth Jones, another big defenseman. They said, okay, we got to take on this salary, but we need another big defenseman to go with the rest of our team so we can withstand the playoffs. And they've done that. And that's how both those teams have looked for their needs and went out and got their needs. And look where they are. This is how they made it.
All right, I want to zero on a guy like Sam Bennett. He's a great example of a guy who's okay in the regular season, but elevates in a huge way in the playoffs. Just 40, 41, and 51 points in the last 3 regular seasons, but almost a point a game in the last 3 playoff runs. And he actually leads the postseason in goals right now. He's a pending UFA. Coach, how valuable is a guy like this? And should a team be willing to overpay to get a guy like playoff Sam Bennett?
You know what? If you've got a team that you know is good enough to make the playoffs, but this is the guy that's going to put you over the top, I would pay whatever it took because the Stanley Cup is where it's at. And like Sam Bennett, they knew what they had when they went and got him in the 4 Nations. I mean, this guy is not a guy, if you're looking statistically, should have made the 4 Nations team, but he did because he's that fit. Now, if you're a team like Toronto, like Dallas, like teams that just got close but didn't make it, Carolina, you're going to sit there and go, you know what? It's not the talent part. It's not the 50 goals we need. We need this kind of guy that's going to get us over the top in the playoffs, and they will overpay for that, and I don't blame them because the goal is to win the Stanley Cup.
All right, fair enough. From third place teams in their respective divisions in the regular season to the last 2 standing, the Oilers and Panthers built for a marathon, not a sprint.